adopted me for clout. Should I expose the truth about them?
Yes.
Yeah, make sure they
Always.
can't adopt again, I guess.
No more adoption.
I, 17 male, have lived with my adoptive parents, Randy, 54 male, and Claire, 50 female, ever since having been adopted when I was 3. I'm the youngest in my family with 3 older siblings, Mindy, 26 female, Nellie, 22 female, and Darren, 19 male. By the way, this comes from Possession Fun 1083 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So my parents love telling anyone who listens the story of my adoption. According to them, they were my miracle. That's so sad. It's not like, oh, you were our miracle. It was such a blessing to be able to adopt you.
We
No.
came into your life one Christmas morning, and we were the best present you got.
Best thing you ever had. Also,
You're
thank you
welcome.
immediately to, who was that? Miss Jaybird for, was it the 20
Jaybird.
gifted memberships?
Wow.
Wowee.
You're
Started
the
it off
best.
strong. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Okay.
Their story always goes something like this. After our 3rd child was born, God told us to adopt. We decided to adopt from the country Randy's brother, my uncle, is a missionary in. Since that country is so poor, it was no trouble finding children who needed to be adopted. But as we looked over our options, we noticed a little Asian boy with a physical disability. That's me.
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
The orphanage told us that nobody was going to adopt the boy because of his birth defects.
Aw.
So out of the kindness of our hearts, we decided to adopt him. That's so messed up.
That was a great voice.
Thank you.
You really sold it.
But you
Thank
know
you
how
so
many
much.
points you get for that, like during Thanksgiving and Christmas?
How many?
Like a lot of family points.
You're like,
15?
we're just such great people.
We
Yeah.
talking triple digits here.
Look
really.
at this little boy who had birth defects.
No one would choose
No one
him
wanted
but
him.
us.
That's so awful.
That is very
Dude, that's what
awful.
they did with, what's that one mouse?
Stuart Little.
Yeah, dude, they made like movies off that dude.
Yeah.
That dude has
Wild.
clout for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a Stuart Little type
This is
story.
Stuart Little. I've heard the story so many times while growing up, and for the longest time, I struggled to figure out why I hated it so much. I hated that I was just another option for them when choosing who to adopt. I hated that I was their charity case. I hated that I was lucky a kind-hearted family decided to adopt me. I hated that I was from a country that I was raised to despise. Oh my God. I never told them this because they had never displayed a care for me before, often ignoring any signs that I needed help. The last straw came when I transferred schools earlier this year. I had transferred out of the small conservative private school into a large public school. I was just getting to know people and had made a quick stop home with a friend to grab some cash so I could go out that night. It was only my parents at home and they insisted on talking to my friend. So I went and got the money from my room in the basement, and as I was coming back upstairs from my room, I heard my adoptive mom telling my friend the story.
No.
I was upset but pretended to not hear a thing as I came back up and quickly left with the friend.
Emily just donated 10 points, $100 and says, "Love you guys. So happy to catch a stream on time."
Whose voice is that?
Emily just donated 10 more bucks and says, "Love you guys. So happy to catch a stream on time."
Who is this?
What's going on?
Emily
Who's-
just donated $10 or bucks and says, "Love you guys. So happy to catch a stream on time."
How many times do we hear it?
This is terrifying. What's going on?
What just happened?
We got some new AI stuff, so I hope you guys are appreciating it.
Whose
Oh
AI
my
voice was
God.
that?
That was Sam.
Interesting.
That was so
And
scary.
and if you donate a certain amount, you become a worm.
I become a worm.
You become a worm.
I love that neither Sophia nor me were briefed on that.
I just wanted to be a surprise. I worked really hard on it.
It was a great surprise, I guess.
Wowie. I refuse to be AI'd.
You just did.
No, that was Sam.
Oh, okay.
I don't want my
I
voice
refuse
to be
AI'd
AI'd.
as well.
When I got home, I got into an argument with my parents, which ended with me yelling that they just adopted me for attention and to feel good about themselves, not because they wanted to provide a stable home for a child who needed it.
Oh my God.
I ended up making my mom cry good. And my dad sent me to my room and told me we'll discuss my punishment later. Since then, I've had other family members
Riley,
reach
why are
out to
you
tell me that
laughing?
I was the a-hole and was ungrateful for my parents' kindness, and now I don't know if I'm right. Am I the a-hole? And there are some relevant comments.
wait, hold up.
So I'm looking at the comments and everyone's like, either like, that was creepy, that was beautiful, or please take it away.
Stop,
I think a lot of
please.
people are scared right now.
Okay.
Anyways, back to the
That was-
story.
Your laughing was just overlaid of this poor kid.
Poor
unloved
kid, traumatized. One, these parents are white saviors. That's what they're doing. They're like, oh, look, we came in and saved this
Look
poor
how good,
child.
look how noble, how righteous we are.
Two, adoption comes with a lot of baggage for the child. And you have to be like super on it if you want to adopt as a parent, and make sure that you're exposing them to whatever like culture they come from, and that you're hearing out their worries and their thoughts and feelings, and you're listening to them, not just brushing it under the rug because you feel bad. It's not about you.
Boom.
About your kid.
Pop off, Sophia.
Thank you. I'm
But-
popping off.
This is the process of popping off. and you're
Freaking
doing
popping,
it.
guys. I'm popping
She's
off.
popping off. But imagine being just adopted in
Yeah.
general, like how inherently traumatic that is to be put up, to not be, let's say, wanted by your parents, or not being able to be supported by your birth parents. And then on top of that, there's the parents explicitly saying that we didn't get you to
Yeah.
support you, we got you because, we wanted to be the good whatever,
Yeah.
and
Good
to serve that
Samaritans.
role.
Mhm.
Imagine, that's awful.
No, I would hate, and it's sad because OP's like, I didn't even know why I didn't like it, and then
Yeah.
I figured it out, and I told them, and they didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
Pretty awful, but there are some relevant comments, so let's get into them.
Yay.
Eighth wife says, I wish more people would talk about adoption trauma. It's very real, and I wish it was part of the adoption conversation with prospective parents. My husband and I were looking into adoption when we found out I was infertile. We have one daughter already, but we really wanted another child. We spent almost a year researching different agencies and going back and forth on if we wanted to adopt an older child or a newborn. We did eventually decide on a newborn, but only because our daughter was still young, and we wanted to be able to put 100% parenting effort into an older child and make sure we were not just physically available, but also emotionally available, which is fair. Plus, and this is probably horrible, but I was afraid that an older child might hurt our daughter as well. I have CPTSD, having been a child that has been in the foster care system, and I understand that alone is a traumatic event on top of the trauma that the child already experienced. We looked into intercountry adoption, but decided that ethically it wasn't the right choice for us, as we could never know if the child we adopted was not part of a child launder, human trafficking is what it is, scheme. We opted also not to use a religious agency for similar reasons regarding coercion of a mother. The agency we eventually chose actually puts the mother first. They do a lot of counseling, and if the mom is even wavering on her decision, they go over her options and show her resources and help that's available. They make sure that she isn't being pressured by family or the baby's father into adoption, and we ended up not adopting as our daughter has some health developments, and we had to put our focus on that. And there are some other relevant comments, but they're mostly just about different people's experience. But you guys can experience time with us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just
We'll
tap our
adopt you.
profile. We'll
And it
adopt
won't
you
be
in the
traumatic.
OK family. Yeah, I think that commenter has a great point. I think it's definitely, you have to make sure that you're doing so much research when you want to adopt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also making sure, like they said, to go to agencies that are not pressuring parents into giving up children, because the main goal, I think, should be finding a way for the bio parents to, raise the child. Like, have we exhausted all options here? Have we given them some financial support? Is there anything we can do? And if that still is not working, they still have to give up the child then, going through with adoption. But
And then there's also talk around like what context did you come from, whether that was another family with their own context of that family, or the context of a whole nother culture, a whole nother country,
Exactly.
and how can you that growing up in this new adopted family, how can you still have some connection to the context that you came from? It's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Kimberly Fine says, props to OP for not ignoring his circumstances and limits in regard to adopting an older child. Too many people try to feel better by reparenting themselves by proxy and perpetuating their experience. And that was in regards to the comment that we read, which is, it's knowing your limits and knowing whether or not you're able to give an adopted child everything that they need.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the end of that story.
And then Lily Pilly Willy says, gotta ethically source your humans.
God.
You gotta.
You gotta.
You know, what farm are they coming from? Never mind. Never mind.
Let's go deeper into that. Gissy Go says, kids in the foster care are not getting adopted enough. Don't make it hard for people to adopt. And then Jennifer Milkowski says, my ex-husband was adopted because he was special needs that ended up not being special needs. Didn't turn out well.
Oh.
Wait, they adopted him because he was special. They thought he was special needs? And then they found out he wasn't? Interesting.
Curious about that story.
But let's get into this next story. I wasn't ready. Sorry, Ren.
Whoa, can we do should we do some of these donations?
Yes.
Noni Anthrophony.
Oh, it is Anthrophony.
Welcome tonight. Thank you for the donation.
Miss Jaybird, thank you for the gifting 20 gifted memberships.
Woo.
Appreciate it.
Pop off.
Miss Romy A, thank you for being a member for 1 month. This live stream has saved me.
Amazing.
Schmirkles, thank you for
Schmirkles.
gifting 5 memberships. We appreciate you. So
Thank
many.
you.
And there's more. Emily, thank you for donating $10. Love you guys. So happy to catch a live
Thank
stream
you, Emily.
on time. And that is all of them. Woohoo.
Great stuff.
But yeah, let's get into the next story.
Oh, is this in a whole adoption thing?
No.
Yeah, like a adoption
This
thing.
one happens to be adoption, but
Oh.
I don't think the one after this is. Maybe it is. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I adopted my sister's kid after she gave him up, but now she's demanding I give him back. I am the middle child among my siblings. I have an older brother, Ron, who is 5 years older than me, and a younger sister who is 3 years younger than me. By the way, this comes from Deleted on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I'm a worm again!
It's a worm!
Sharon P just donated 10 Ozer bucks and says, love the show. Sam, Sophia, John, Riley, Anthony, James, Alex, and Molly. Hope I didn't miss anyone. Oh, I saw John's sister once, can't think of her name, but she was funny.
I'm back.
Sharon P just donated
I don't
10
want it anymore.
Ozer bucks
It doesn't
and says,
it,
love the
it
show.
doesn't really sound
Sam,
like
Sophia,
Sam.
John,
If you didn't say
Riley,
Sam, I
Anthony,
wouldn't
James,
I wouldn't
Alex,
have
and
guessed
Molly.
it.
Hope
Like
I
I could
didn't
hear
miss
it a little
anyone.
bit.
Oh, I saw John's sister once, can't think of her name, but she was funny.
It's like if Sam wasn't quite
Sharon
Sam.
P just
Yes.
donated 10
If Sam was a robot.
bucks and says love the show.
See, that
Sam,
sounds like John.
Sophia,
Why is
John
this-
Riley.
Oh, I wouldn't even thought that was John
Okay,
either.
it's repeating.
Yeah, it's repeating. Okay.
Terrifying.
Okay, we
Get to the
Broke
story.
We
Okay.
freaking broke it,
The
guys!
AI is
Sharon
broken.
P, thank you for the $10. We appreciate you.
We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Sharon P.
The situation actually revolves around my sister, Ivy, 24 female. She was an unplanned child. My parents originally planned on having only 2 kids, but then my mom became pregnant and my parents decided to keep Jenny. My parents were both emotionally and physically absent from our lives. Both of them focused on their respective careers to provide for our family. We don't hold grudges against them for this because if one of them stopped working, we would have ended up starving. Approximately 6 years ago, my dad lost his job. His company faced bankruptcy, which cost him his job at the time. Adding salt to the wound was my sister's unexpected pregnancy. She was only 16 at the time. Like most parents, my parents were disappointed. When she revealed her pregnancy to us, it was too late to terminate the baby. We were already facing financial difficulties, and on top of that, my sister was pregnant. We all asked about the identity of the baby's father. The final blow came when we found out that the father was one of my classmates,
Does that
Archie.
Archie? Does that change
Not
anything?
Archie.
Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
someone's
Oh
classmate.
God, the final, not Archie.
No, anyone but Archie.
They're like, oh, it's one thing for you to be pregnant, but with
Wait,
Archie?
That's a whole nother level.
God.
Wow.
To provide some background, Archie was was known as the most insufferable guy in our class. Of course he was. He was notorious for interrupting during important lessons. He had a reputation for harshly judging anyone who didn't meet his standards of attractiveness. Besides that, he had a habit of skipping class to secretly smoke cigarettes behind teachers' backs. I profoundly disliked him, and I'm confident others shared my sentiments. It's likely that many people had similar feelings of disdain towards him. I was infuriated when I discovered that she was carrying Archie's child. My sister, Ivy, is a naive girl who believed she could change a bad boy.
Oh.
Her biggest crush was on Archie, and she thought she could fix him and his habits.
His sexy cigarette smoking habits.
He puts the killing thing in his mouth, but he also gives it the power to kill.
And he interrupts teachers. Hot.
So hot. Unfortunately, Archie wasn't prepared to be a father. He doesn't sound like he was, as he was only 19 at the time, and his only family was his own parents, who didn't like the idea of becoming grandparents so early. Yeah, they're like, it's just not the right time.
Archie, come on. Maybe like a year or two.
Yeah, wait a bit. They reluctantly came around and agreed to pay child support as long as they had access to the baby. When my sister realized that Archie wasn't going to stick around, she succumbed to deep depression. However, our brother Ron suggested therapy, which helped her. Amazing.
Amazing Ron and amazing her for going.
Amazing race. That's a show. We agreed that after the birth, Ron would adopt the baby as he had already graduated and secured a decent job. He had been the one carrying our family, providing us with financial support ever since my father lost a job.
And how old is Ron?
Ron is, older brother Ron. It just says who's 5 years older than me, so we don't quite know. And the younger sister is 3 years younger.
Is he 17?
Okay. Ivy is 24 currently, but this was 6 years ago when she was, so she was 16 at the time. OP was 19, and then Ron was 24 at the time.
24.
Okay.
So Ron's going to be taking the child.
Yes, at 24.
Because of his job.
Yes. Everything seemed to be settled until Ron suddenly changed his mind. He apologized profusely for his decision, explaining that he had unexpectedly received a transfer to another country.
Wow.
When the baby was born, responsibility for the care fell squarely on my shoulders. I had never been particularly fond of mothers or children, and in fact, I had decided to remain child-free, viewing them as nothing more than a burden. My sister Ivy was incapacitated due to an illness following the birth, leaving me as the sole caregiver for the infant.
Did OP agree to this, or was it more of just like, no one's going to take care of this but you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically,
imagine that responsibility being placed
thrust upon you when OP made it kind of clear that she never wanted a kid.
Mm-hmm.
She got, Ron was supposed to take the child, then kind of dropped out, and then Ivy
Archie
gets sick.
Archie obviously isn't going to take care of it.
Archie's not going to take care of it, and so it just kind of falls onto her.
Wow.
Due to her struggle with postpartum depression, Ivy refused to meet her child. My mother pressured me to step up despite being a college student. Yeah, OP's 19 at the time.
Yeah, which is a child herself.
Yeah, that's incredibly young. I had to put my plans on hold for the year because I was taking care of an infant. Over the ensuing 2 years, my sister Ivy never once inquired about her daughter. I was the one tending to the child's needs with some assistance from my mom when she was at home.
So the mom can't take care of her because she's working? Is that the story?
Yeah, because it seems like the dad's lost the job, so the mom is
working, still providing for other people.
Yeah, and Ron is also providing.
Okay.
And OP is taking care of this baby.
Wow.
Which is just very unfair.
Yeah.
When my sister declined to raise her daughter, I stepped in and adopted her. My sister happily gave up her maternal rights, expressing that she regretted giving birth. I adopted my daughter Jules when she was 2 years old, and the court approved the adoption due to the fact that I had been her caregiver from the start. So OP is about 21 at this point.
Okay.
Before the adoption process was completed, I had already become her primary caregiver, effectively assuming the role of her mother. Wow. Archie's family didn't object to the adoption as long as they could continue visiting Jules. My parents later mellowed out somewhat after being previously angry at Archie for impregnating Ivy. Archie defended himself by claiming he always used protection, but apparently my sister Ivy thought otherwise and intentionally sabotaged the contraceptives for her own entertainment.
Whoa. Some interfamily drama.
Oh my God. Oh
I wonder
my
what
God. What?
Ivy's response to that is.
Yeah,
Is she like, yeah, so what?
Yeah, is that true?
I mean, probably not. She seemed like from the start not wanting to take care of her child.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe she was a 16-year-old who didn't really think.
And then had the child.
And then
was
had
like,
the
actually,
child.
never
Wait
mind.
a minute. I got to take care of this thing for life?
I thought it was like a good 5 years.
Ooh, I was going to give it like a semester, maybe.
Yeah, how many batteries does it need?
Yeah, I really didn't want to go to school on Friday.
Yeah, hopefully she did not mess with the contraceptive. That'd
Hopefully
be wild.
not, but that is the claim that he's making. This caused significant strife between two families, and my brother Ron distanced himself from Ivy due to her reckless behavior. Okay, so I think it might be true, which is really awful if that is the case.
Yeah, if her own
the part of
sibling
Ivy.
is upset about it, maybe possibly true.
Archie's parents later threatened Ivy with legal action if they ever spotted her. Despite the situation, it was always Archie's parents who visited Jules, never Archie himself. Approximately 3 years ago, after the lockdown had ended, I unexpectedly encountered him in a market. When he realized it was truly me, he implored me to allow him to reconnect with his daughter. Initially, I firmly rejected his request, as I questioned why I should allow someone like him to get close to my daughter. Also, why wouldn't, if he wanted to be close to his daughter, he had this whole time to reach out and stuff. I mean, his parents were reaching out, so I'm sure that he could have said, hey, I'm interested in seeing my daughter.
Yeah, well, I think obviously it was overwhelming for him.
Yeah.
He didn't, and then seeing her, maybe it just like really hit him and shocked him, and he was like, actually, wow, I want to see this life form that is, I give
me.
Yeah.
However, he dropped to his knees in the middle of the market, pressuring me to agree. Under a set of conditions, I reluctantly agreed to let him visit Jules on weekends. Despite my initial skepticism, Jules took quite some time to warm up to her father. Through my time with Jules, I began to view Archie in a warmer light. Oh my God. Okay, conspiracy theory.
Okay.
OP and Archie are gonna get together. This is a enemies to lover, slow burn,
Oh my God.
parents, unexpected pregnancy.
You just want this to happen.
I'm with it.
I'm with
it.
I think it could happen.
I don't think it can, but if it does, I'm like, yeah, that's a love story, I guess.
It's a type of love story.
It's not
love
one
stories
I would
are
want
versatile.
to participate in, but good for them.
He has truly grown and improved as a person. Also, I think that he was the same age as OP. Okay. I think they went because he was 3 years older. He was. She 19.
Was like OP was like, he's my classmate.
Yeah. He recently completed his master's degree. Approximately 6 weeks ago, he proposed to me with a ring. I swear to God, I didn't read ahead. I swear to God, I didn't read ahead.
Okay,
I just know signs.
Wow.
I'm just a genius.
I really did not expect that.
I did expect it.
Obviously. Congrats.
Although we never dated, I felt comfortable trusting him due to the significant changes he had undergone in the past 3 years.
Is she?
Wow, she's fallen in love.
Wait, she's into it.
She's into it. She's like, okay.
She's like, he's a master's. Okay.
It's different.
He doesn't interrupt teachers anymore.
She's like, Ivy might not have been able to change him, but I did.
But I can.
Sometime later, I discovered that when he impregnated Ivy, his father gave him a hard, can I say that? Beating?
Yeah.
I did. His mother also spent years reprimanding him for his actions. Through their tough love, they eventually managed to teach him a valuable lesson. I'm a worm!
$10 bucks and says I haven't donated in forever. I'm stuck home with an injured hand.
I'm a worm.
I don't like
Jojo45X just donated 10.
Okay.
Oh, it stopped.
We gotta fix it.
Woo! Thank you, JoJo, for the $10.
Thank you,
I'm still
JoJo. But look
worm.
at what you did.
Ah.
You turned
Okay.
Sophia into an
Freaking
AI
turned me into a
worm.
Guys, would you still love me
Yeah.
if I were always that worm?
Yes.
And I never switched back.
You were AI.
I was
Yes.
AI worm forever.
Yes, without the AI worm. Without the voice.
No, you can take it or leave it.
Because I expect you with like a little like, I'm a worm. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I can get used to
JoJo,
that.
thank you for the $10.
With a terrifying AI voice.
Yeah.
No.
Squashed.
Squashed.
Squashed. I was overjoyed. Through their tough love, they eventually managed to teach him a valuable lesson, leading him to become more courageous and ultimately reconnect with his daughter. I was overjoyed.
I don't think that he decided to become more mature because of a beating.
No,
for the record.
I agree. I think that sometimes people, when they are younger, I mean, even though 19 is, you should know better. But I think people grow and they change.
19's a child. I was a child when I was 19.
I think that I'm not the same person that I was at 19.
Yeah, in the year that you've grown up, like
Yeah.
you're a different person.
Yeah.
The 1 year.
The 1 year that I've grown.
I'm trying to start a conspiracy. You're 20 years old, or that you're 19.
Oh, I thought you meant that I was a clone
No,
and I had just been born.
no, it was an age conspiracy in the making. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Gotta spice it up.
Interesting. I was overjoyed when he proposed to me with the ring. He has transformed into a significantly better version of himself in comparison to the Archie I knew my whole life. This mature version is vastly superior. And but do you find him attractive?
Yeah. I love how it's just like he got on his knees in the grocery store, and then he got on his knees and proposed.
Oh my God. Wow. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Last night, I invited my parents and his parents to my place for dinner. The primary reason for this gathering was to share the news of my engagement. My parents were somewhat apprehensive. Fair. I'd be like,
Wild.
oh, it's been like six weeks. Okay. But they ultimately accepted the news. Similarly, Archie's parents gave their blessing. Our fathers hit it off well after the announcement. Given that I have never been fond of extravagant weddings, we decided to have a small and intimate ceremony instead. News of my engagement spread quickly. I woke up to numerous messages of congratulations and well wishes. However, and this is the one I was wondering about, among these texts, I noticed a message from my sister Ivy asking to meet at a coffee shop. Initially, our conversation was typical, but things took an unexpected turn when she started inquiring about the spicy sleep relationship with Archie. It was incredibly strange and inappropriate for a sister to ask about her sister's intimate life with her partner. Her question caught me off guard, and I firmly shook my head before asking her why she wanted such details. Why do you want to know? I mean, you slept with him, I don't know.
Well, I'm just waiting.
When she was 16?
I'm just waiting for the title to come.
I forgot about the title.
Should I?
Oh, no, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
We're going to be in the surprise.
I don't want to know. It's a surprise
We're in
now.
the unknown.
The conversation took a turn for the worse when she started discussing her dating life. She continues to live with her parents, which led to her romantic partners discovering
Vix
her
Mix just
past.
donated
I'm a
10
worm
points
again!
Oh, no.
It says, I'm doing good in Florida. I was on the west coast of the hurricane. Hopefully my Florida people are okay.
Who is that? Is that supposed to be John?
I think so. John is one of the
Vix-
Florida people. Okay. Back to it. I'm still a worm. She continues to live with our parents, which led to her romantic partners discovering her past. Most of them left her because of it. Wow. And those who stayed used her past against her in arguments. I felt empathetic towards her throughout much of the conversation until she revealed that she wanted everything back.
That was the title. She wants
There
her
we
child
go.
back.
I was taken aback by her statement. I asked her to clarify, and she reiterated her desire for everything back, meaning she wanted both Jules and Archie. That's just not how it works, babe. That's not how it works.
No,
you can't just take him back. He doesn't want you.
If you hook up with them first, you own them. That's
Dibs.
Dibs.
Dibs. It's the rule of dibs.
Sister rules, friends rules,
Dibs rules,
You gotta
finders,
respect them.
keepers.
Boom.
All of the rules.
You're breaking them.
Yeah. Yikes. I initially thought she was joking, but her serious tone made me realize she was being sincere. And also at this point, the daughter is about I think she's about 24 now or something. So the daughter is Ivy. So this is
Ivy is 24.
so it's been like 8 years since I think so. I mean, at the top of this story it said that she was 24 now. So
okay.
she's
the
trying
daughter
to,
now is 8, is what you're saying?
Unless we're not fully caught up to the present, which is possible. Because she said that that her sister is 24 like currently.
Got it.
But either way, like this child is at least older than 2, which means that she has seen OP as her mom for her whole life.
For her whole life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now this random person's coming in.
At 2, Archie came in and she was apprehensive, and then I'm sure. Actually, I'm not sure, but I assume that if they're marrying, maybe she warmed up to him, and that she was like, "Now this is my father."
Yeah, OP said Jules has warmed up to Archie. Yeah, so like she already sees these people as her parents.
Yeah, it's just,
and legally OP is her parent.
Yes, it's just Ivy's watching not only her own daughter, but her sister. Having her daughter, but her sister like being with the man,
with the baby daddy.
Yeah. And so it's probably like jogging of like, oh, I could have had this big happy family, and now that I'm older and more available to it, I want it.
Exactly. Which is, you can't just Obviously, I don't necessarily. I mean, the piercing of the contraceptive is a huge no. That's awful. But from the standpoint of like a 16-year-old getting pregnant, I understand why she would not want to have the baby at that point.
Sure, yeah.
Or not feel capable of taking care of it, but she doesn't just get to come in and demand the baby back.
Especially if it's, legally adopted and raised its whole life by OP.
Exactly. She then expressed her belief that the life I currently had should have been hers, which is what you said, because she was the one who got pregnant with Archie first and gave birth to Jules, not me. Citing that all the hard work had already been done, she claimed that I should hand everything over to her because she was prepared to be a mother and a wife again. So presumptuous. I was taken aback by her statement and stood up to leave. My sister Ivy had never behaved in this manner before. She has been sending me messages, attempting to emotionally manipulate me into handing over Jules and Archie by leveraging her current life circumstances and recalling the struggle she experienced with postpartum depression after giving birth to Jules. By the way, you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap her profile.
Just tap.
Even though I haven't shared this information with anyone else except my best friend, she labeled me a major red flag and a jerk for accepting the proposal of my sister's baby daddy and ex. Wait, the best friend said that?
Yeah, what?
That's not your best friend. Whom she had a huge crush on. She accused me of being a disgrace for claiming to care for my siblings, but not upholding my words. She further asserted that it's never appropriate to date another sibling's ex, regardless of the circumstances. Her words now replay in my mind. Yes, my sister undeniably loved Archie when she was 16, but am I truly in the wrong for liking the same guy as my sister? What? The thing is, there were so many extenuating circumstances here. It wasn't just like OP's sister broke up with her boyfriend and then OP swooped in. It was like years later, OP's raising her sister's child and the child's father comes in. They start co-parenting, and through that, they develop a relationship.
Yeah, this take feels very irrelevant. It's not like she just swooped in and stole someone's man that she was with. No. Like she was raised. This is so many years later. And she's raising a child with him.
Yeah, and I do think that if that's the end of the story, then Ivy is 24, which makes OP and Archie 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's been 8 years.
It's been 8 years.
Yeah, the child is 8.
That child is 8 years old.
It's almost a decade that you raised this child.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, she was with Archie.
Yeah, 8-year-olds are fully conscious.
Yeah.
They remember things now.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays they know things.
I do want to give some empathy to Ivy, even though her request feels completely unfair, and I think that's very obvious. But after her child's birth, she was dealing with postpartum depression, was in no state to raise her own child.
Absolutely.
And then after all these years is seeing not only her child be raised by her sister.
It's jealousy.
And
for sure.
she's seeing her, the baby daddy, and now they're this family. And now, of course, it's hard to see.
No,
like,
I
that's
would not
just
fault.
an inherently very hard thing to be with, of like this life that you could have had, but you weren't ready. Didn't have the capacity for it, whether it was from age or mental illness. But so that sucks. But the request still not fair.
I don't fault her at all for wanting to have a relationship with her child. And the thing is that she could have that.
Yeah.
This request is insane. But it doesn't mean that she couldn't have a relationship with her child if
That's
she wanted
a great
one.
point.
She could go into, she could go to her sister and say, hey, I really appreciate you, stepping up and raising my kid. And I would, if you are okay with this, I would love to kind of have some sort of relationship with my child.
Yeah, if she led with that, I would see no
that would be a
reason.
totally different
story.
Which still,
and would be able to have some form of relationship.
Yeah.
But now just by demanding, that's not going to get with you what you want.
No.
Demands
But that
don't
is
get
the
you what you
end of
want.
that story. And there is another one. So let's get into it. And also, Riley, can I steal your LaCroix?
I guess so.
Yeah. I'm just really thirsty.
Hydrate time.
Are there any
My
donuts?
carbonated beverage.
Your carbonated beverage. Thank you.
The last one, by the way.
Also, Slithy
Gonna cost me, though.
Tovis says, I would never accept a proposal from someone I didn't date. Great point. That whole thing was a little strange. I did not understand that.
It was strange. However, I mean, we don't really know the dynamics between them. And I do think that it was they were probably in very close quarters in terms of
Well, how long?
co-parenting.
How long did he propose after?
I think he said 6 weeks, which is super
6 weeks?
super quick.
6 weeks?
Yeah, I want to double. Let me
You can't
double check
even
that.
know someone in
No,
6
I mean
weeks.
personally, I would not do that. I would approach maybe being in a relationship with someone.
Personally, I wouldn't get into a relationship with someone after 6 weeks. That's just boyfriend, girlfriend.
Sorry, 6 weeks ago.
Oh,
6 weeks ago, I was like, that's insane. No, this was approximately 3 years ago. They have been co-parenting for 3 years.
Got it. That
Sorry,
makes
guys.
so much
that
more
makes
sense.
so much more sense. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, I understand more why they got engaged together.
You could really get to know someone co-parenting for years.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like
6 weeks would have been
hey,
insane.
can I see my child? Yeah, here it is. Anyways,
So let's get married.
married? He's like, yeah, F it, let's do it.
Yeah, 3 years is different. I think also he probably was like, let's give our daughter now, because we are co-parenting, a connected family or something.
Yeah.
But let's get into this next.
Let's
What?
do it.
Let's introduce Alex and then read some donos.
Okay, everyone who doesn't know who this is,
My name is Alex.
it's Alex.
My name is Alex.
And there you go.
Now you know.
Now you're ready.
Yes.
Josephine Mandola Berquist says we have a dono from her.
I know. We're getting there.
We're getting
We're
there.
fixing the AI thing because people hate AI. And
Is this the first?
Yeah.
Is this the
the
debut?
first AI stream.
you guys are
yeah.
No way.
You guys are
The worm's
pigs.
fun.
Right here.
I like the worm, I guess.
Which one?
One sec, Aunt
Schmuckles or
Addie.
what that one?
One sec, Addie.
Layla Labintamona. Oh. I Shall One Song. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. I love the
Ooh.
energy you all have and the dynamics between you. You all brighten my day. That's
Aw,
so sweet.
that
Thank
is
you.
sweet.
Tiny Cactus, thank you for being a member for 6 months. Riley, I hope your family is safe from the hurricane.
Thanks.
Is it-
Yeah.
Is it in North Carolina?
It is in North Carolina.
God.
My brothers are out of school today. They got out early and they are not going to go to school this weekend and they were going to do some stuff. But my little brother hit me up and said, hey, what's your Peacock password? So I think they're just going to be
doing
watching The
okay.
Office.
Okay, so they're good.
Yeah, they're
healthy.
fine, they're
Okay,
fine.
Cool. Thank you, everyone.
Amy,
for
thank you-
the
yeah.
hellos.
Yeah.
Hello. It's great
Amy,
to be
thank you
here.
for the $10. Josephine Madola Berquist, thank you for the 27 sec. Please, no AI voice. It's awful.
Please tell them. Tell
Kim
them.
Nils, thank you for becoming a knight. We appreciate you. And Layla Labintamona, thank you for gifting 5 gifted memberships. We appreciate all of you.
Noni
very
says,
much.
where is Riley's AI voice?
I
Riley, do you
actually-
have one?
I do have one. I disabled it because I thought they would want to hear John's and Sam's.
Okay.
I
But
want to hear yours.
I kinda wanna hear
just want
yours
to know.
now.
I want to know.
you want to know what it sounds like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you
and
pretend
also,
to give an AI Riley voice?
you guys have yet to meet my boyfriend. This is not my
I
boyfriend.
am not her boyfriend.
Yeah.
prove it.
I don't know how.
I hate you. Shut.
I love you.
Here, Alex, text her real quick and we'll see.
Boyfriend.
No. Every time her boyfriend texts her, she gets the biggest smile ever. It's crazy.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right, let's read.
Okay.
We're
Cute.
losing Facebook.
Cute.
Facebook.
Facebook stay.
Facebook hates my boyfriend. My parents forced me to join their van life, and I hate it.
Be grateful. Be grateful. Van life is awesome.
My parents decided when I was only around 7 years old, far too young to get an opinion on anything, to pack us up and move into an RV to travel around the US. My dad works online and my mom makes content online. She's not huge by any means, but big enough that we get recognized sometimes,
Ooh.
and big enough that I've had a camera shoved in my face for as long as I can remember. This is not great. For my privacy's sake, I won't say anything else on that, and I'm using a throwaway account because I've gotten enough attention already and I'm sick of it. By the way, this comes from Educational Army 915 on the Best of Redditor updates. I sleep in a tiny bunk bed that I outgrew years ago, and the other bunk is the only space I have to put anything I own. I don't even have a room, just a curtain, and thank God I'm an only child, or else I would have to share the small space I already have. I was homeschooled for most of my education and then switched to online school at my own insistence for high school. I'm an 18-year-old girl, and I don't have a single friend in person because the longest I've ever stayed anywhere is a month. I don't have a job and no way to get one because of not being stationary unless I find one online, which also means I have no way to move out and get away from them. I had conversations with them about all of this countless times, and they are so delusional and genuinely believe that a nomadic existence is the best way to live. So why would I never need anything else? Why would I ever need anything else? I hate them for treating me like some pet they can just drag along in their plans rather than their child. I hate traveling. I don't like heat. I hate dealing with bugs. I'm so sick of hiking. I can't wait for the day that I finally figure out a way to get away from them with their morning hikes and cameras in my face. I've traveled around the US, yeah, but God forbid I want to have a normal life, go to college, or maybe even make some friends. That's asking too much. Oh, this is really
Sophia,
sad.
Can you get me some water? I'm thirsty. That's
Is-
mine.
Is that
Okay,
yours?
sorry. Yeah,
It
that's
sounds
mine.
like you. Oh,
Yeah.
it sounds
Oh.
like this is, I personally think,
seen-
what?
Captain Fantastic, the movie.
Yes.
I love that movie.
That is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's a slightly different situation.
Okay, what it is
Yeah.
that parents living alternative lifestyle, you're raising a child, so
Yes.
whatever lifestyle you have, your child is going to have.
Absolutely.
Of course, a child is going to look online, seeing people not living the alternative lifestyle and be like, why can't I have a normal life? Which is fair, but I don't think that the parents are doing this awful thing by wanting to choose a lifestyle that feels good for them and bringing their children in a lifestyle that they think is good and a great way for a human to be raised and to live.
I slightly disagree.
Tell me.
Only because I think there are certain alternative lifestyles that really work for a child. And I think in Captain Fantastic, it was like they had a whole...
They did have
they had
rooted
kids.
down stationary
Yeah, they were
living
stationary,
situation.
and they also had a bunch of like siblings and stuff. So there
Mhm.
was socialization.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this case, it is a like girl alone, like only child who is kind of moving from place to place and not getting any socialization.
Sure.
Which I think for a child does need a certain level of socialization to become a
100%.
high-functioning, well-functioning adult.
100%, yeah.
And I think that in a lot of cases, the van life is totally fine if you want to do that as an adult and you make that decision. But I think kids do need a certain level of, privacy growing up and a little bit of space if you can afford that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, people have different, financial means and stuff. So it makes, if you're going through somewhere where you literally can't afford to give your child space, that's different. But I think it's a little unfair to expect your child to enjoy the same things that you enjoy as an adult, and that you've made like a conscious decision. You know?
I think the parents could do a lot more understanding of why their child wouldn't want that, and like all the limitations, like you said, the privacy, the lack of socialization, and see what they can do. Of like, yes, for right now, you are my child. You are living this lifestyle. This is the lifestyle I choose.
Yeah.
But like, how can we bring in these necessary components for you to have the childhood and the life right now that you want? Like, how can we bring more privacy? How can we socialize or root down in some way so that you could make relationships that are essential for any human being?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a different conversation. For sure.
I think it is. I think it's figuring out what works for both of you. It doesn't mean that you can't ever do something like this, but it just means, you know, looking at your child's needs first.
Yes.
Because when you are a parent, I think that goes above everything else. For a certain time, because you've made that sacrifice to become a parent. And I think that goes above your own wants.
Yeah, and I
to
think
a certain extent,
needs is very different than children's preferences.
Exactly. Whereas I don't even think this is a preference. I think this is, she needs socialization.
But yes, 100%. That is a need.
Yeah.
Some form of autonomy, some form of privacy. Those are needs, 100%.
Yeah.
But she's like, I hate hikes.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
I don't want to do a damn hike
but
again.
I think it's like a compiled thing. She's like, oh, the hiking, and I don't have any privacy, and I'm alone, and it's like sense. All of these. I think there is some of this is just, you know, she's a teenager and she is annoyed with her parents, but I think a lot of it is just the parents not listening to her at all.
Yeah.
But there are some other comments. Commenter says, I can't even imagine how lonely that must be. Do you have any other family you could stay with? OP says, not that I know of, unfortunately. Currently, my plan is to try to figure out some making sort of income online and save up so I can get an apartment. And I'm talking with someone I've known online for a long time about maybe being roommates to help with costs for both of us. Commenter says, going to college is perhaps the easiest way out, but maybe not the cheapest. However, certainly a good step forward for multiple reasons. OP says, I'm definitely looking into it, but I'm worried about it because with the way I was homeschooled, I was very behind academically and struggled a lot in high school. I was just happy I was able to do an actual online high school program rather than homeschooling, which again, if you're going to homeschool, that's like a totally fine way to teach your children, but you have to make sure that you know enough to be able to do it, or like get the resources.
Some structures to make sure they're on track.
Commenter says, ironically, if you were to start creating content about getting away from your hipster parents, you'd probably gain a lot of attention.
That's funny.
OP says,
become what you hated.
It's like, I live in van life and I hate it.
Yeah.
And it's just content about, it's like all these beautiful sceneries and stuff and about all like the stuff about van life, but it's just like, this sucks.
Yeah. Honestly, that
Hike
would
today,
do well.
This is the worst.
Look at this view. I hate it.
I hate it.
Another 30 minutes.
Another 30 minutes. Wow. Winter Girl, thank you for the $20.
Thank
Was there
you,
another
Winter.
one?
Yeah, there's a lot more. Are you done with the story?
I'll read the comments first. There's an update soon. OP says, honestly, I've considered it just for the purpose of spreading awareness, but it didn't seem smart to me for a few reasons. Firstly, it didn't seem like a long-term solution. I don't think the content would be all that interesting once my story is told. There isn't any other real content there. There's only so many times you can talk about the same thing without it getting repetitive and boring. Plus, I would have to be in a stable position enough to feel comfortable talking about it and have an out just in case things went sideways. But more importantly, I've already had my life plastered onto the internet from such a young age. I don't think it's worth giving up the one aspect of my life that hasn't been published publicly. I think if you're upset with how much your life has been viewed, you know, and how online you are, then maybe this is not the best solution.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Gumby Rock says 1800 Runaway provides a list of programs that will provide housing and supportive services. We help people like you every day.
Oh, what is 1800 Runaway? I'm
presumably like a service that helps kids who want to get away from their parents.
Okay.
And OP is 18, so it's not like, you know.
Yeah, she's not.
She's legally allowed to be. Yeah, legally an adult. But there is an update. But before we get into that update, should we read the donos?
Yeah.
Okay. Emily, thank you for the 6 gifted memberships. We appreciate
thank you.
Grape Head, thank you for the 5, being a member for 5 months.
They say awesome. Indeed.
And Winter Girl, thank you again for the $20. That's
stickers.
such a cute we finally get to see the stickers. Oh my god, I love it. It's like a little
thing?
dog. Yeah, we haven't been able to see them.
Oh, amazing.
But there they are.
Now we have stickers.
Aussie Girl in an Art Shop, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Sam E, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Y'all are killing it in the memberships.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Y'all so kind.
But there is an update. But before we get into it, Live Laugh Lobotomy says they're sheltering her away from the foundation she needs to integrate into modern society. Pushing their alternative life isn't fair to her development. I think if you want to live an alternative life, it's really just a balancing act of seeing
100%.
what is good enough, for your kid.
Yeah. For any human, a whole assortment of needs, specifically belonging needs. How can we be integrated into a web of relationships? Very important, but for a child, even more important.
Yeah.
And so I love alternative lifestyles.
I think they could be really great.
The issue is if it's at the expense of your child's needs,
yes,
then of course there's issues with that.
There's issues, but there is an update. Hello, barely over a week ago, I made a post talking about my very negative experience living in an RV with my parents for around 10 years. Despite it being such a short time since I posted it, a lot has changed for me since then. I don't know how many people here would be interested in an update on my situation, but I know quite a few people were very concerned and would probably appreciate an update. So here it is. Also, fair warning, this is a fairly lengthy post. I have a tendency to ramble. I had a lot of people give me some really helpful advice, resources, as well as even offers to try to help personally. Some being questionable, admittedly, but a majority being genuinely concerned, wanting to try to help, and I very much appreciate that. It was slightly overwhelming, to be honest, and I ended up not responding to a lot of people, so you'll all have to forgive me for that. But even if I didn't respond much, I have been doing research on a lot of the information people gave me. Something that stood out to me was people asking if I had any family I could stay with, to which I had to respond, not that I know of. Because I don't have anyone on my dad's side of the family, and my mom strictly went no contact with her family. I didn't know if they were alive, if they cut her off, if she cut them off, or even any details about them, and my mom had never wanted to talk about it.
Wow. That's a big thing to keep from your child.
Yeah. Do I have any family?
Yeah. It's like, ask your dad.
I don't know. What information I did have was my mom's maiden name, which is pretty uncommon, and where she was born, which in terms of trying to find family can actually get you surprisingly far, I've come to realize. I've always had a slight hatred for the internet because I never had a choice in my life being public knowledge. And I know that once something is out there, it's out there. But for the first time, I'm actually really grateful for the internet. I was able to find some information on my mother's side of the family, and specifically was able to find my grandma's Facebook account, though it did take me some effort. After a lot of stressing on how to approach messaging her, if I even should, as well as potential outcomes, I messaged her explaining my mom's life, who I was, and my situation. I won't go into details onto why my grandma and my mom are no contact, because that is not my story to share, but my grandma was appalled that she has a granddaughter she didn't even know about.
Damn.
And even more so, the way in which her daughter raised me. Wow.
She didn't even know about her own granddaughter.
I wonder if the mom got pregnant and kind of, ran off or something, went no contact.
Maybe.
That's
It
really
could be anything.
I mean, obviously
but it's something big if there's no
yeah.
contact and her grandma doesn't even know that her daughter
Yeah.
has a child.
Yeah. I found out I have an aunt and uncle, both of which my grandma told them about me and my situation. I've been in pretty much constant contact with all of them since just learning about each other. All of them want to help me get out of this living situation with my parents. And luckily, with me being 18 now, it's actually possible. Again, I don't feel entirely comfortable going into details, but I have arrangements to go stay with my aunt who lives in a big city on the West Coast that had a lot of potential opportunities for me to start college or whatever I see fit. That's amazing. Which I do plan on figuring out college. Happy to announce. My uncle has kids, but my aunt lives on her own and has a spare bedroom, which she has no problem letting me stay in for as long as necessary. That is really hard to find out that you had this whole support system and cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents that you just didn't have access to.
Yeah.
It's really
But
hard.
also, were they necessarily being hid? Like, which I don't know if she was being lied to about them. It was just like, we don't talk about family.
Yeah, just not even bringing them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think it's.
But that's exciting that it's all these people that are like,
you get
offering
all
support.
these, new family and stuff. I'm talking. Wait, I have a train ticket scheduled and purchased by my aunt and enough money to get to the station. I'm talking with my family. Still feels weird to type currently, and trying to plan out the details, like how or if I'm going to tell my parents. I do think you should tell your parents.
Okay.
They legally can't keep you there because you're 18. But I do think just letting them know where you're going.
Well, I was curious how that was gonna go down. I understand that like she's upset at the way she was raised, but it doesn't seem like she was abused. It doesn't seem like her parents were ever awful to her, and I imagine that she would still want relationships with her parents, as anyone does, ideally. And so I'd be curious about how she could go about that in a way that's not like, I'm leaving, dipping, bye.
Yeah.
Of like a, hey,
this is what I
this
no
is
longer
what I'm
want to live
going
in this
through.
life.
This is what I want. I did reach out to them. This is the support I'm going to go to. I'm an adult. I still love you, but this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think just saying, I'm going to do it regardless of your support, but I would like your support.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking with my, I said that. My mom doesn't know any information on where any of her family lives, so even if I were to tell my parents who I'm going to live with, they wouldn't know where I was specifically. Someone pointed out that if I did leave without telling them, I should leave a note or some form of proof that I left willingly. So if I do opt out of a conversation, I'm planning on either leaving a note or filming a video explaining my plans and why I'm leaving, which would be kind of ironic, wouldn't it?
Wait, what?
It's like Opie's like if she made a video saying like
it is ironic. And you
I'm
put a
leaving.
camera in my face this whole time.
Yeah.
As she's recording on a camera.
She does like an apology video. I'm so sorry, but I have to go. The channel's over. Regarding my mom filming, I've been very quiet around my parents and just refusing to talk when the camera is on, but neither one of them has mentioned it yet so far, luckily. Also, speaking of my mom's content, I would like to very much emphasize something quickly. Almost everyone was genuinely trying to help, but I had a few people replying trying to guess who I was. Luckily, the few I saw were basically torn to shreds and ended up deleting their comments. I also had a few people who messaged me privately trying to make a guess at who I am, which at least that's not public, I guess. Although I can understand being curious, I posted anonymously with very little personal information for a reason. As I stated in my previous post, I have gotten enough attention and I'm very much sick of it. I would very much appreciate it if you guys can respect that. Even if you think you might know who I am, please, please, please don't make public guesses. And understand that I don't want this to be even more public information tied to my name. Very long story short, I have set plans to leave, as well as a safe place to go with my aunt once I do, and very much appreciate so many people for being so willing to help. If you had told me not even 2 weeks ago that not only would I have a plan to move away from my parents, but contact with my family members I didn't even know existed, I don't think I would have believed it. I'm currently not planning on making another post updating this, but wanted to let anyone who was concerned about me not worry, and genuinely thank you. And there are a couple comments to finish off this story.
So did she say how she was going to tell her parents?
She didn't decide whether we don't get to know how she tells the parents.
I hope that they could still have a relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't
think
seem like that's out of the question at all. I think it's completely possible, and how she goes about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could all still have a relationship.
Yeah, I think perhaps there is like maybe she's worried that they'll record it or something. So they're like, oh, okay, one more time on camera.
Yeah.
Like, why are you leaving?
Big fight with daughter. You must watch.
She's against van life. Everyone get in the comments.
Yeah, roast my daughter.
Yeah. There will be cats with Gwennifer. Can we do a poll actually?
Yep.
Do we tell the parents or ghost?
What?
I would tell them.
Okay.
To be clear.
Okay.
But
I know what the comments are gonna say.
Yeah. There will be cats says yes, safety first. Alana Cunningham says not till she's safe. I guess nothing from the story, in my opinion, implied that they would react in a way that was like unsafe.
Yeah. I don't know why safety is being brought into the question.
I think they definitely have been mistreating her in terms of, like putting her online, putting her whole life online and stuff.
But also, point is that, I mean, how many parents post their children on Facebook? Granted, they don't have a following, but what's the difference of like posting on, public social media?
I'm personally against posting.
Me too, but I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like that's abuse or like
I don't think it's necessarily. I think there is a time when it becomes mistreatment.
Sure.
When you post all of your child's life to an extent where they don't get privacy.
I wonder if they ever had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Of like, I really don't want this.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And I wonder if they were like, sorry, this is what's happening.
Shucks.
Yeah.
You're famous
Smile.
now. Yeah. But we have 8 votes for we have 69% of you guys say tell parents.
Oh wow.
So it is
proud of
leaning
you
toward
guys.
tell parents.
I had lost faith. Go off.
Didn't
Okay.
even expect them to. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's great words.
Oh, you didn't OP's comments though. Commenter says, "Be careful. You don't really know your mom's family. I know it seems like an out, but just be careful."
That's a fair point.
A very fair point.
These are strangers.
We don't know why the mom's obviously not great. But we don't know why she cut contact with her
These
family.
people could be dangerous.
Yes.
That is a possibility.
I think that is definitely a possibility.
Yeah. Just because they're biologically related to you doesn't mean they're more safe than strangers.
Yeah. Agreed. OP says, "I absolutely will be. Why my mom isn't in contact with them makes total sense, and none of it was their fault. Plus, they were able to send me evidence of that. But despite that, I definitely don't know them personally yet. My train out isn't scheduled immediately or anything, and I'm going to continue talking with them until then. But they do seem to be genuinely concerned and trustworthy. Plus, my aunt, who I'll be staying with, seems super nice, and we have already figured out that we have certain things in common." To the same commenter a bit later, OP says, "Oh, I forgot to mention earlier, as I said in the post, I'm planning on going to college because that's a more obtainable option for me now.
Hey.
And I'm hoping to figure out living in dorms, so realistically, I won't be staying with my aunt for that long once I work that out." Commenter says, "You can't really know they're being truthful. You should ask your mom why she stopped communicating with them without telling her you started and get her side of the story. I think that's smart."
Yeah.
OP says, "My mom 100% refuses to talk about her family. That's the reason I didn't have any contact with them in the first place and didn't even know about my aunt or uncle. But I'm confident they are being truthful about it because I was literally shown proof and some of it was literally court ordered." What was court ordered? What is that? I don't know what she means by some of it was court ordered.
I don't know, but it's more serious than I thought if there was court involved.
Yeah. Commenter says, "I do not recommend making a video. Your parents will use it for content." Yeah.
Reacting to their daughter's video.
They're like, that's a weird point there.
Yeah.
Chat, that was kind of weird of her to say.
Chat,
Write a note at most. Keep it simple, though. OP says, "I realistically don't plan on filming a video. I think I was just feeling petty and upset thinking about it all, which just led to thinking about drastic ideas of what I should do for telling my parents. Video definitely isn't a good idea if I don't just tell them myself." To a downvoted commenter, OP says, "Question, have you ever seen the Harry Potter movie scene where his room is under the stairs and thought to yourself, wow, he actually has enough room to sit up in a bed and a door?" I have multiple times, actually. It sucks. I'm very willing to abandon them to not have to feel like that anymore. Also, just on that subject.
Oh, OP is saying
OP's saying, yeah, have you ever thought,
Got it.
oh, he has so much room in that closet? And OP's
Yeah.
like, I thought that.
But are you a wizard?
But are you a freaking
But are
wizard?
you a wizard? Didn't think so.
Commenter says, Great analogy. Listen, could you do me a favor? Whatever the name of your town you're going to, call the local police of the town you're going to, or sheriff station, or on a non-emergency number. Ask for the community liaison officer and then briefly introduce yourself. Explain that you are 18, leaving a family situation which is not healthy, and going to stay with a relative you have not previously met. Give the officer your contact info and tell him or her that you just want somebody that you can trust to know where you are and to please give you a wellness check in a couple of weeks, and that you will stop in and let them know how you are a couple of weeks following that. Agree on 2 innocent code words for your wellness/future conversations. One, which when dropped into conversation means something is wrong, please get me out of there. And the other, which means everything is just fine at present. Does this sound comfortable for you? OP says that's a really good idea.
That is a good idea.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
Making sure that you have some safety net before you go live with strangers.
Yes.
Who, your parents had no contact with and we don't know why.
Yeah, and there was some conflict there.
Some sort of court-ordered thing.
Also, Josephine says, our daughter ran away, reacting to her last message, not clickbait.
So many views.
Yeah.
That's top of the charts right
I think you guys should just do a content off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Kimberly Fine says, to edit my last comment, by worse, I just mean different. The optics were more objectively negative from an outside view and in comparison to what is currently socially accepted. Was there another comment connected to that one,
I just
Riley?
mean different.
From Kimberly Fine. Kimberly Fine, gotta keep in mind that nature versus nurture is something to consider. If nurture was at play, round 1 of genetics was definitely worse than what OP experienced. And then Carla Woods, thank you for the $5.
Thanks, Carla.
It's Brittany Beach says, I know a story where the kids got fed up with the mom using them as content, that they wear Disney merch and play Disney music when she starts filming because it will get taken down quickly. That's really clever. Sucks that they have to do that because it's going to get copyrighted.
And who's with
They're like wearing Disney merch and playing the music so that the video can get copyrighted.
How did they? Oh, the kids start doing that? That's funny.
Because they don't want to be on the videos. That's funny.
Yeah.
Iva B has a great point. Why aren't we liking the stream? There's 715 people here, plus 232 on Facebook
right now.
So many. If everyone liked it, we would have a wheel spin. And those are facts.
Wait, how do we get a wheel spin?
If we get to 500 likes.
Oh. Guys, I want to spin that
Guys.
wheel.
All right, let's get to the next one.
Okay. Do you have the next this is the next episode.
It's the snip.
Okay. All about hairdressers.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
I was excited for it.
No.
My dad's a hairdresser.
I got pregnant even though my husband had a vasectomy.
Oh, wait. Okay.
That's what I just asked.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm sorry.
Let's do it.
I got pregnant even though my husband had a vasectomy. Now everyone thinks I cheated. Oof.
At least cheat on someone who can have a child.
Yeah.
Boom.
The situation is very strange. Everyone keeps insisting that I should go back to my husband and stop the divorce process, but I feel very hurt and betrayed.
She feels hurt, but she cheated.
Did she?
Is that not what the title said?
No.
Are you guys lying in the title?
The title did not say that. The title said, I got pregnant even though my husband had a vasectomy. Now everyone thinks I cheated.
I just have this thing where I don't look or
you
listen.
You don't even friggin' read. It's okay.
Just, I like to assume.
By the way, this comes from Acceptable Lychee 26 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I love that you were like, is this clickbait?
I don't know. Sometimes it's not accurate.
I try, okay?
You're doing great. You're doing great,
To give context, I, 26 female, married Charles, 27 male, 1 year ago, and our honeymoon, I found out I was pregnant. I was shocked because about a month before we got married, Charles had a vasectomy, and I hadn't been unfaithful to him. And when I told him, everything was a disaster. He immediately told his family and also my family, and everyone took Charles' side, no matter how much I cried and begged. I humiliated myself so much so that he wouldn't let me. I even knelt down so he would believe me, but Charles wouldn't listen. Only my brother-in-law, John, 30 male, Charles's brother, supported me. We were cordial, but I never considered us to be close. I'm a worm again!
She's like, goddamn worm!
Heidi Vincent, thank you for tipping $25. Sorry, I'm late. I'm here now.
Is that what worms sound like?
Yeah, all worms sound like this now.
That's crazy. I've never met a worm that sounds like me either.
Yeah. All right, continuing. John was my only support when I was pregnant because my family completely excluded me. We shared friends, so I was also rejected. Charles kicked me out of our house. Oh my God. My family wanted nothing to do with me for bringing shame to the family, and none of our friends took my side. I lived with John until my baby was born, and he suggested a DNA test with him, and when the results came back, the genetic match indicated that he was a close relative, possibly an uncle.
Crazy.
When Charles heard this, he immediately came to see me and had a DNA test done, and sure enough, my baby was his. It's crazy how you didn't think to do that, dude.
Well,
he just left.
She was pregnant. Can you do a DNA test?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can do a DNA test when you're pregnant.
I assume
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been over this. Not with you,
Okay.
Alex, but
We've been over this, Alex.
Oh no, I goofed up again.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure you can,
Okay, that makes sense.
it's kind of ridiculous that I don't know. I feel like if my partner was like, I swear I've never cheated on you. I don't know how I got pregnant. I'd be like,
Wait, what was the vasectomy situation?
well, he had a vasectomy, but vasectomies
snip,
don't
snap,
always,
snip, snap.
they don't always take. Like there
Okay.
are, it's very low chances, but sometimes people can get, pregnant even with a vasectomy.
Yeah,
so.
you ever seen Cheaper by the Dozen?
No.
Well, he got a VV on his third one, on the 11th kid. He got one after it, and then he then had a 12th one.
Damn.
Now we
That's a
know.
movie.
That's
Okay,
crazy. He didn't think about that until the 11th kid.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we should probably stop now.
Dang. When Charles heard this, he immediately came to see me and had a DNA test done, and sure enough, my baby was his. Now everyone is apologizing to me and asking me not to go through with the divorce, that it was understandable that my husband thought I cheated on him because the chance of the vasectomy failing is very small, that I shouldn't destroy our long-standing relationship over a mistake. But I can't get over the fact that he left me alone at such a vulnerable time.
And you were abandoned by your whole support system.
Whole support. She got abandoned by her family,
Mhm.
his family, their friends during her whole pregnancy, and none of them thought to double check.
None of them thought to double check or just like have some compassion and to trust this person that's in their lives.
Yeah. No, I mean, like,
To like slow down and be like, okay, like what are the chances of
Yes.
this? Or even just to be like, okay, like if it's a possibility and this is what you're saying, we could at least start with trust.
start with
And
trust,
then, like-
especially her family.
Yeah.
That's
her own
really
family.
her own family abandoned
awful.
her. Really, really awful.
Also, like the most traumatic thing that a human can go through is like abandonment of social network.
Yes.
Because like in our DNA, in our genetics, if we were abandoned by our tribe, it would be life-threatening.
I agree.
Very traumatic. Oh, now she's a worm.
I'm a worm.
I don't.
Who
Are you
donated?
an abandoned worm, or are you
I'm
a
an
connected
abandoned worm.
She's
I'm
an
stuck in the
abandoned
dirt.
worm in the dirt. No other
Oh,
worms.
I'm back. Okay.
Sophia.
I think divorce. I think divorce is fair.
Usually, I'm like anti.
Yeah, usually you're anti.
I know, but in this, I'm like, I just don't. I don't understand. I don't see a path where like repair could happen,
No,
and that you could.
I think
be
it's
on
such a massive
goodwill
loss
with,
of trust.
with your partner.
Yeah, I think it's a massive loss of trust. OP was alone for the entire pregnancy. And it really sucks that she has to deal with, if she does go through with this kind of divorce and maybe limiting contact or something with her family and friends. It sucks to not have the support system, but they kind of already left her. Like she already lost that support system.
They abandoned her, quite literally.
And it's really ridiculous for them to be like, oh, sorry, but you shouldn't divorce him.
Yeah.
Like they should be groveling at her feet.
Yes.
I don't trust Charles, and I don't think I'll ever forgive him, especially since in the time we were apart, he got a girlfriend, and they were together until the results of the paternity test came out, which implies that they got together within like less than a couple months.
Yeah.
because, or within the 9-month period of the baby, which is wow.
I'm just so confused. Why, like, even if you didn't trust your partner at all, why not get it tested before?
Why
just
not? Yeah,
jumping?
why not double check?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. I also am not willing to go to marriage counseling because I have to focus on my job after my maternity leave, and I just want to take care of my baby. And honestly, I don't think there's a marriage to save. He left.
He abandoned
He's
you.
already dating someone else, which is also like crazy that he's like, oh, I'm just gonna like break up with my girlfriend and get back with you. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, did they?
Yeah.
I wonder if they
implying.
broke up and then he was single and was like, yeah, let's get back together, or the test came out, then he's like, oh, my bad, let me break up with my girlfriend and then get back together with my wife.
He got a girlfriend and they were together until the results of the paternity test came out, which sounds like he got the paternity test and
was just like, oh, never mind,
bye.
I have a child,
I gotta go back to this marriage.
Yeah.
So am I the a-hole for not wanting to get back with my husband? And yes, before anyone says it, I was an idiot for not taking a DNA test while pregnant, but I was very depressed and those months were confusing. Also, no one believed you and no one suggested it either, so I don't think that's your fault.
Yeah.
I think the fact that I am alive and with my healthy baby is thanks to John, which is the brother.
Shout out John.
Because he never stopped supporting me. I also want to clarify that the biggest problem here was not that he doubted my fidelity, but that he treated me like garbage and was not willing to listen to me. And there is an edit to this story. But yeah, I think divorce is the
I'm shocked that I'm saying this.
I'm shocked to hear it. But if Alex says divorce, it means that there's no way to turn this around.
I think there's some small path back to repairing the relationship, and in my opinion, there doesn't seem to be any possibility of that at all.
Yeah,
you were abandoned by your whole support system.
But there is another part to this story. It's the same story.
More of the story.
More of this one. Wow, there are a lot of messages and I'm a bit overwhelmed. I want to leave more information, although I will continue to respond to comments. I live in an underdeveloped and very religious country. That is not an excuse, and really the education is not bad. But there are still certain sectors like where I live where there is still a lot of ignorance and these topics are taboo. Charles spoke to me on our wedding night about vasectomies, and I admit that I believed him because I had no spicy sleep experience. We had not had spicy sleep for religious reasons. His family is a bit more conservative than mine, but we still belong to the same community. And for religious reasons, he did not want to use any other contraceptive method besides vasectomy and abstinence, which, vasectomies are a great means of contraception, so that's good.
Yeah.
As long as he was like, let's have some contraception here.
Yeah.
I admit that I was very ignorant and stupid to simply believe him and not take the trouble to inform myself about it, and it is no excuse. I just want to give you context, but these topics are very taboo. This is kind of repetitive. The first time I went to the gynecologist was when I was 18 years old. And when I had my first period, I thought I was going to die. And I'm going to die because I'm a worm again. Who donated?
This is so distracting.
Who did this?
Who did this? Claim it.
Thank you for
Name yourself.
tipping $10. Like the stream, please. I want to see the wheel spin. I've never seen a wheel. I'm just a worm.
Just a worm.
They don't have wheeled. Oh.
Now she's Sophia.
My life has changed because of this, but I'm still fighting to break the stigmas I had. That is why I did not dare to upload it to my personal account. John is gay. And although I was not excluded...
Aggressive.
John is gay.
Gay.
John believes that he was not excluded because he does not have attitudes that his family considers shameful, and all his boyfriends, the family, simply called them friends of John. I don't fully... Excluded from what? I don't know. I think that maybe they bonded over, him being gay and her having a baby and being pushed out by the family.
Well, I think she was saying that he wasn't pushed out.
That's what it sounds like, but also it's kind of confusingly worded there.
Yeah. Also, above, she talked about the lack of sexual education.
Yes, which is
in her community, and I think also country. Along with there's like religious
stuff going
context
on
around it. which again doesn't it doesn't excuse the family for abandoning, but that still is relevant context.
It is relevant information. It does explain why they were so quick to judge.
Yes, and why no one thought to get a test because people aren't educated.
They're like,
oh,
vasectomy, that means you can't have a baby.
Yeah.
Which, not the case. But it doesn't mean that OP has to forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the hypocrisy in all of this, but it really is, I guess for years, but it is what it is. I guess for years I was very blinded and I just denied the hypocrisy of it all. Living with John was cathartic. I only give them the information I know. I also don't understand the actions of the others involved, especially Charles. And there are a couple relevant comments to end this story. Since it's weird from what I've heard from friends, associates, family, and the internet, any sort of anti-contraceptives or surgical procedures aren't allowed in a lot of religious groups. I am intrigued why, they're okay with vasectomies and not other ones.
I imagine it would depend on the religious
I think
group.
it probably depends on the religion, but usually it's like if it's a change in terms of, to something to your body, like a vasectomy, I would imagine they would be more against it than
really.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm interested why that is different.
What do you have to say,
my
Riley?
thought process is as like a guy. I mean, they never told me to do this in church, but whenever you do something, you're like, oh no, my kids, million of my kids are in a whatever item you choose to dispense them in. And maybe they think that they're like, oh, they're children. So if we have a vasectomy, the children no longer can get out and they're safe inside of you.
In there.
I'm so confused.
But then I realized my wiggles don't matter, but the woman actually has the eggs because eggs, that's where kids come from, not the wiggles.
Exactly. It's both.
It's both? Okay, well, I'm now still confused like they are. That was just my thought process, and maybe maybe they think I'm killing kids if I do this, so I have to get a vasectomy.
You know what? I love your thought process.
I love your thoughts, Riley.
Thank you.
But there's some comments. Let's hear their thoughts. Fierce Driftwood says, not the a-hole. Of course you aren't the a-hole. You've been through an incredibly traumatic emotional experience on top of the trauma of carrying and delivering a baby. I don't know what to think about him casting you aside, other than that if you hadn't considered genetic paternity testing in utero, then he certainly should have before allowing his newly pregnant wife to be homeless and friendless and feeling free to date other women. Of course, you no longer feel safe in this relationship. What would happen the next time he feels validated in his mistrust? He didn't speak to a doctor about his concerns or anything? Thank goodness for John. And Ave Berry says, not the a-hole. Your husband wasted no time calling you a cheater, kicking you out of your home, turning everyone except brother-in-law against you, and cheating on you. There is no coming back from that. You absolutely cannot trust your soon-to-be ex. He cheated on you. Once a cheater, always a cheater. But you once an OK Storytime fan, always an OK Storytime fan. So
also, these comments
join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST.
They're so
Top of
good.
profile. I have not been watching them because I've been reading.
They're talking about Riley.
Or did I'm going to read this and then I
thoughts.
want to read them. Did he even go back and get tested for a sperm count once you became pregnant, or did he assume everything took with the surgery? He should be kicked to the curb and forced to pay your child support. Although since he had the vasectomy, you might argue for sole custody of the baby with the argument that he never wanted a child. And this is the end of that story.
Marry the brother, says Pamela.
Yeah. Well, he's gay.
He's gay.
He is gay.
Not gonna
Wingle says Catholicism is against vasectomy. LOL. My village also banned condoms for a bit. You had to go present your marriage certificate to buy condoms.
Oh wow, that's
Oh, let's go.
Whoa.
Can you go up to the
that's
earlier comments?
intense.
Oh boy.
See,
okay, some people did follow me.
No, I think Blind Bee is explaining how sex works.
I want Riley to teach us all sex ed. I could do that. I could do that.
And then I come in after and I teach you more sex ed.
Proper
Riley
sex ed.
keeps the swimmers safe. Bad take, Riley. Debatable. I'm trying to relate here. I'm calling them the Wiggles. Yeah.
The Wiggles.
Ever since we've had to like censor ourselves, I think it's funny not even saying like what it is anymore. I just find new words for the things.
Yeah.
I struggle. I'm anti-censor. I really want to use my words.
Alas, if we used all of the words, we will be taken off of the air.
I've seen people saying wild words.
Well, it's
on the
because we post this on Facebook and stuff, and
internet. Is
Yeah.
Facebook different than YouTube? for
Yeah,
that?
Facebook's
Facebook's
like, please be
really
nice,
strict.
please
They're like,
be clean.
Really?
don't
Okay.
even say one bad word,
Oh, wow.
or you're off.
Okay.
But let's get into this next story.
Maybe
Okay.
just so people get off.
I had a vasectomy years ago, but my wife's taking birth control again. I think she's cheating.
Nah, dude, she's being extra careful.
There are different reasons for taking birth control, but let's find out
Let's
why
find
she's
out.
taking it.
Real quick. We got one.
Oh, okay. Haley K, thank you for the $5.
Thank you.
Woo.
As the title says, I've had a vasectomy done when I was 25. We are both child-free, so it only made sense to have a permanent solution rather than using condoms or other forms of contraception. My wife used to be on the pill, but always complained about how annoying it was taking it, and so on. We did not have any issues for all these years, and neither ever mentioned birth control since. By the way, this comes from mashed taters on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Fast forward to now, we recently moved into a new home, and I am tasked with redoing a bathroom. After I install the vanity, I began putting our stuff in it. My wife has a small pouch where she keeps her travel kit for her work trips. It's a toothbrush, paste, small bottle of mouthwash, makeup, ibuprofen. I was having terrible headache, and our house has been upside down for a while now. So when I remembered that she keeps painkillers in that pouch, I opened it to get one. Inside, I found birth control pills. It would make no sense for her to keep the pills from 7 years ago, especially since she has used this pouch multiple times for her work trips. It's not like I found them in a long forgotten corner. Again, there are multiple reasons for taking birth control. I don't think I would rush to cheating.
And also, to get to the bottom of this instantly,
ask
your partner.
And also, just think about talking to her
No, I'd rather make a bunch of assumptions and treat them as
and
reality.
go to Reddit.
Yeah.
And where everyone will agree with me about her
100%.
cheating.
Yep.
No, I mean, like, a lot of people take it to if their periods are heavy. There are different, someone said PMS. There are a lot of different medical things.
Reasons. And you could
that
ask
you
your
could take.
partner.
Yes.
I hope you know how to talk to your partner.
Yeah, I feel like OP just goes up and says, hey, I went looking for some headache pills. Saw that you had the birth control stuff. Is there,
what's going on?
Just wondering if everything's okay medically. You don't even have to accuse her. You can just be like,
yes.
Are you cheating on me?
You're cheating on me.
me.
No, yeah. Lead with curiosity. What's up? Well, what's
Hey,
the reason
girl.
for this?
Think about
Hey,
what
shoddy.
you want to
Hey,
do.
shoddy.
Okay, shoddy.
Think about what you want to do and do the opposite.
Yes.
Yeah,
Honestly,
there we
the best advice for these Reddit stories.
For these Reddit stories. Then, for the first time in our 10-year relationship, I doubted her. I sat on the couch and started to think of all the possible reasons she might be taking those behind my back. For one, she is on my health insurance, so I would see if she had a doctor's appointment for an issue unrelated to contraception. I know that birth control pills are used for other purposes. She is healthy and would certainly share with me if something was wrong medically. Why would she hide it, especially in the light of her complaints regarding the pill? I decided to put the pills back in there and act like I didn't see them that night. Wrong.
Panda Ammonium says, could you imagine if everyone actually communicated with their partners? Y'all would be out of business.
We wouldn't have any stories
There'd be
to
no
read.
stories.
Yeah, and that's a gamble.
That
A gamble we're willing to take.
That is my goal, is to put these guys out of business
out of business.
and beg people to communicate
Please
to their partners.
communicate.
Please.
I checked back the next morning, and sure enough, another pill was missing. So she is actively taking them. I'm lost. Part of me doesn't want to know, and I wish I could just erase that from my memory. We're happy together. We have a wonderful life, and I cannot prepare for it all to come crumbling down. I'm not ready to learn that she's cheating, but I can't go on without knowing what's going on. How do I approach this without sounding accusatory If she genuinely has a medical problem, and I cannot imagine she had and would hide it from me, I don't want to make her feel attacked. Tell me there's a good reason why she would take the pills. Edit. Wow, guys, I was at work and came back to a lot of replies. I'm reading through them now, and the general consensus seems to be that she likely has a valid medical reason for taking them.
Okay, but then edit 2.
Yes, she'll be home soon, and I will have the conversation. Edit 2. She's likely cheating.
Oh, no.
I'm still shocked, mad, upset, and can't write everything right now. But we discussed, and she had a very weird reaction to me bringing it up. First, she accused me of going through her things. Then she said it doesn't matter anyway because she has nothing to hide. She could not explain the reason behind her taking the pills. Why is this happening? And there are no updates. I already looked, Riley.
Oh.
And this is 5 years old.
No.
So there's really no updates, guys.
That feels suspicious.
That feels really suspicious that she
can't
no
provide
excuse.
one reason of like, I'm taking this because. Also, curious how he brought it up. Of if he came at her like throwing cheating accusations where she was just so defensive and didn't even want to tell maybe the very valid reason possible. I don't know how.
Yeah. It does seem like from the first edit, OP maybe did approach it with like, hey, is there something going on medically?
Because
I noticed the birth control pills.
Because he said he didn't want to be accusatory.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in which case, and specifically if he said that, I don't know what I was going to say.
That was wonderful.
I love that. I love every single second of
Sorry, guys.
Lay low, 5 years old, no update.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, guys.
Why do you do this to us?
I didn't
Now
pick
we'll
the story.
Uh-huh.
I just approved it because it was a good story.
Darn tootin'.
But there is a donation from Awkward TRTL. Thank you for the $10.
Thank you.
I've made it my mission to watch all of your videos.
Every last
That's an
one.
intense mission.
That is.
We have a lot of videos. I have plenty of time too since I work in a warehouse. My first time catching a live stream though. Woo!
Hey.
Long live the Worm Queen, a loyal subject.
Wow.
Thank you. I haven't heard that in a hot second.
That is crazy. I think we honestly probably have like 6 solid months of content.
We release a video every day.
Every day, that's about an hour.
Yeah.
Really?
So
How do you have? That's a lot of videos.
yeah.
Well, I don't
And
even
we
think
do
I could
more
watch
than
all
that,
the videos that
low-key.
I've done.
Yeah.
We do more than that, low key, because we stream for about like 5 hours every day too.
Yeah.
Every weekday.
So is she watching all the lives as well?
Who knows?
Wow.
Well, she said this is first time catching a live stream.
Oh.
which is
Well, I mean,
exciting.
like
Did you
retroactive.
catch
Oh,
up?
retroactively. Interesting. Oh my God, that's the end of the stream.
Oh.
Oh wow.
I didn't even notice. I
That
was
was
having such a blast.
The time.
It's 4:49. But
Oh.
that is the end of that story and the end of this stream. But
Wow.
thank you so much for coming, guys.
Thank you guys. We
Um,
enjoyed you being here.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
maybe
you
next
listening.
time we'll make that wheel spin.
Make that wheel spin.
But if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
Please. And like. And we love you.
No. One more time.
Okay. So
what
you
is it?
say we love you and see you tomorrow. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.